All right, everybody, today our last video is a quick one on how to assemble the hardware for your picture frame. So you either have a painted frame or a stained frame. The hardware goes on the back, and it's how you hang it on the wall, and it has little clips to hold the backer in. Okay, so first thing you need to do is get a pencil. Then we're gonna come over to the supply area and get the materials. So you need your ruler for your table. I'm at 11 right now, so I'm gonna boom. Okay, then you're going to, from the picture frame hardware box area, it says picture frame hardware. You're gonna open that up carefully so as not to spill. And it says here on the lid, you need hangers times 1, which is these little alligator clipped hangers. You need 2 hanger screws, which is this container of screws right here. You need 3 backer clips, which are these right here. And you need 3 backer clip screws, which are these right here. Now in these, there are some normal sized ones and some tiny sized ones. So be aware, if you grab the tiny sized ones, you're gonna have to grab a different screwdriver. So we're gonna grab our clip. We got our 2 screws for the hangers. 1, 2, 3 backer clips, and then 1, 2, 3 screws for the backer clips. I'm going to close that. Okay, now you also have your station screwdriver. So you're going to grab the one that matches your table. These are a number 2 Phillips. You can see, maybe you can see these screws are a little bit bigger. They fit the number 2. Some of them, the little retainer clips, have these tiny ones that are number 1 Phillips. So I have a couple extra screwdrivers here. I'm gonna need one of those to put those little ones in. Okay. The last thing you're gonna need from your teacher is a piece of tape. Okay, so your teacher will give you a piece of painter's tape to put on here so we don't wreck the finish. The first thing you have to decide is if you want to be a portrait, which means it goes up and down, or if you want to be landscape, which means side to side. I'll kind of show you one for both. We're gonna start with a portrait. So I'm just gonna kind of work upside down here since it's closer. You're gonna put the tape across this end, kind of right down the middle of your wood here. Now the key is you do have to measure a couple of things. We have to measure down the right placement, and then we gotta measure the center here. So we're gonna start with the 0 part of the inches ruler, 0, kind of on one end of the tape. So the ruler is flush with the edge of the frame. We're gonna go to 5/8 of an inch. So 5/8 of an inch is the 1/2 of an inch right here plus 2 lines, okay? So 1/2 of an inch plus 2 lines is 5/8. We're gonna put a little line across that goes across this way. Got that right there. We're gonna go down to the other end of the tape, do the same thing, line up the ruler at the edge of the frame, and go 5/8 of an inch, so 1/2 plus 2 lines. We got that. Then what we're gonna do is connect those marks with a line across your tape. You just want to be careful not to draw off the edge of your tape. So we've got a line all the way across there now. Okay, that's the first part. Second part is we need to find center. So you're gonna have to measure across the width of your frame here. So it should be 7 inches if you did all your measurements right, if you're doing for portrait style. So flush at the edge, I am right at 7 inches, okay, which is perfect. So I'm going to, along my thing here, find 1/2 of 7, which is 3.5. So I got my 3.5 inches, and I'm going to put a little vertical tick mark here. And then I'm going to kind of extend that carefully, make sure it stays straight all the way across the tape, almost edge to edge, so that we have that, okay? That's all the main measuring we need to do. What we're gonna do next is take your hanger. You can choose to go a couple ways. There's alligator teeth, or there's the wider spacing for screws. Okay, so we're gonna use the alligator teeth, so it actually will be hanging the other way around. We're just working upside down. So what you're gonna do is line up the line that we drew here, get a better angle with the light. This line here down the middle, we're gonna take that and center it on the middle of the teeth in the middle hole here. And then we are going to put the pencil line we drew across right through the center of these screw holes. So we're gonna have eyeball and center here. Then what you're gonna do is right through the middle of the screw hole, you're gonna put a little crossing line there. And then a crossing line here. So that if we get in the right light, you can see there's a mark here and a mark here. That is where we're going to put our screw holes, okay? So to do that, these are our bigger ones that came with that one. So you take your large blue numbered screwdriver. It is Phillips head, so it should fit in that slot there. What you're gonna do is put the tip of the screw right there on the center of where those lines cross. So right here, get it straight up and down with some gentle downward pressure. Push down, and you're gonna turn to the right, righty-tighty. You're gonna put that screw about halfway in. So you gotta push down a little bit so that screw is about halfway down. And you're gonna back it out and do the same thing to the other hole. Screw to the center of the mark, pushing down on it, turning to the right. Okay, again, halfway out and then halfway down, back out the screw. Do not lose it. Once you have that, you have those two holes started. We're going to very carefully peel the tape off. And we now have two little holes. So we are going to put our hanger on top there and start putting this on. So when you put the screws in, you do not need to mash them and go really hard and drive until it's stuck. You just want to go till they're down, holding the metal hanger plate kind of snug. You can always come back and retighten it just a little bit, but if you tighten too much, you're going to strip the hole that you made, and the screw will not hold onto the wood, and your hanger will probably pull out and it'll fall off the wall. So we don't want that. So again, getting that in there. That is in there snug. It's not going anywhere. For the rest of the clips, we have these little clips here. One side has a little bubble to the top, and the other side has kind of an opening in the back. We want the bubble side to always face out. These are going to go basically halfway down the long sides and on the end. So we want them approximately halfway. We don't have to measure this, and they need to be about 1/4 of an inch in. So 1/4 of an inch on the ruler is from the end to right here. That also happens to be the length of the screws. So we're gonna start this same process. We're gonna mark it with the screw and then start the hole. So what I like to do is just kind of lay the screw here so it's even with the edge of the wood. The head of the screw is even with the edge of the wood, and the tip of the screw is pointing in. And then I just kind of tip it up on end. Again, push down, halfway, back it out. And I'm going to take my retaining clip, put the screw through it so that, again, the top is the bubbled up rounded part. Put that on my screwdriver. Put that in the hole I just started. And run it in. Now we're not going to get these like super tight so they can't turn. So right now it's so tight that it won't turn. Okay, but we're going to loosen it up just a little bit so it turns lightly. The other two screws I have are the itty bitty teeny tiny ones, so I have to swap my screwdriver for this other smaller special one, but the same process. Kind of line them up in the middle on the edge, tip the screw up. You're gonna start it, back it out, put it through a clip, Put it back in the hole we just made. And tighten her in for now. Okay, that one's good. Last one, and our hardware is almost done. Again, line it up center with the length of the screw away from the edge. Now again, if I didn't say it clearly, this goes on the side with the routed edge on it. Okay, this is the back of the frame. This one's being a little more stubborn. I hit a tight grain area there. Got my hole started. And we're putting the last retaining clip in. If I can get it in and not drop it. There we go. And pushing and turning to the right. Okay, so one last thing. Once you have this done, you're going to ask your teacher for your backer board and your glass. Okay, so the glass it's actually plexiglass. It has plastic film on it. So you have to peel that plastic film off. And you're going to get your glass. It might be a little dusty, but we can clean that off. So what you want to do is make sure your clips are all turned out of the way so they're not in the hole. And put your glass in there. If your glass doesn't fit, if it doesn't just plop right in there, if it's a little tight, it means you probably cut off too much or sanded off part of your frame. Let your teacher know and they will trim that down for you and adjust it. But your glass should fit there. Then you put your backer board in. Again, making sure your clips are out of the way. And then what you're going to want to do is carefully roll those clips out. Now you might have to kind of get your fingernail underneath there and pick them up just a little bit. If they're too tightly screwed down to do that, then you're just going to barely turn the screwdriver, loosen it to the left, just enough to get these screws up so that they get on top. Now if they're a little loose, then you can snug them back up. Okay, you want them a little snug. You don't want it just kind of like whoop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop, bouncing around. So a little snug there, a little snug up there, a little snug up there. Now when you get to this point and your glass is in, your backer board's in, you're done. But what I do need you to do on your backer board, you're gonna write your first and your last name and your period number on the backer board. Once that's done, you can put that in your tub. We will start grading these with the rubrics very soon in class. So your teacher will check these against the rubric and you will have an online reflection to do, okay? So make sure that you watch the whole video, answer the questions when you're done, let your teacher know, and they will get to grading it soon. All right, good job. You have completed your picture frame. Congratulations.